Well, one thing, and actually, now that I think about it, there was another time where I guess a lady was complaining about her insurance and saying that, like, well, if I use my insurance, today, like they always raise your rates. If I go through my insurance, and another lady was like, "Oh, their insurance is just way too high." I mean, what do you say on something like that?
Well, first of all, I'm like, okay, Mrs. Jones, so, but you're still paying for insurance every month, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, why are you tossing money down the toilet if you're not going to use it? Like, you're already paying for this roof. I mean, you've paid for. How long have you had homeowners insurance for? No, I mean, we've lived in this house for 15 years. It's like, okay, well, over the course of those 15 years, you've paid for a new roof probably 2 times by now. It's like, Mrs. Jones, I can totally understand why you'd feel that way because, when you get in a car accident, for example, your insurance company can raise the rates on your individual premiums because when it comes to something like a car accident, somebody is at fault. The driver could have done something different, right? So they can take your policy and increase your rates individually for something like that. However, when we're talking about a hailstorm like this, or a hurricane, tornado, anything that's considered an act of God, they cannot and will not raise your rates individually for filing a claim. In fact, because there's nothing that you can do about your house being where it is on planet Earth when a storm comes through and randomly hits it. Like, you can't, short of running outside and going, looks like there's a storm coming, and then building a fort over your house to protect it, like, there isn't anything that you can do. But as a matter of fact, Mrs. Jones, your rates are going to go up regardless of if you file a claim or not. Because what they do is when there's a widespread catastrophe like this, which is what they consider hailstorms, just like a tornado, just like a hurricane, they can't raise anyone's rates individually, but what they do is they take the whole area and they raise everybody's rates a little bit. So we always make a joke about it, Mrs. Jones, but if they're going to raise your rates anyway, you might as well get a free roof out of it. You know what I mean? And so,
Actually, the other thing about that is a lot of times if it's an older roof, your rates are raised just because you got an older roof.
right,
I mean, a lot of times as soon as you replace it, then you get a new roof discount. So,
bingo.
I mean, so a lot of times your rates can go down if you replace the roof,
Exactly. And that's a
and
great
then
thing to,
insurance pays for it.
yeah, no joke. It's like, Mrs. Jones, I mean, if you're not going to use your insurance, then don't have insurance, spend it on handbags, shit. But it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
How about I just start carrying your insurance for you?
exactly. Why don't you just give it to
Okay,
me?
maybe.
And
Yeah.
you can also, like, here's an example that I like to use to kind of help homeowners understand it. It's like, Mrs. Jones, how long have you had your insurance for? X amount of years, 15 years. Okay, cool. Well, if you imagine your insurance premium as like a piggy bank, you've been putting money in there for 15 years, your own money. You've never used it. When you have a loss like this, like which is what insurance is for, they're really just giving you back your money. It's like you've put it into this piggy bank and now they're giving it back to you because you need it. That's what insurance is for. So I would hate to see you go through and end up having leaks in your house from something that would be covered by your own money in your insurance policy simply because you were afraid of rates going up, when the fact of the matter is they can't raise your rates individually and your rates are going to go up anyway because they're raising everybody's rates because of this storm.